judo and also the sports masseur. The first functions I'm going to introduce to you at wrist equipment is the wrist flexing function, which means that the rubber bands has to be scrolled up towards myself, the scroller, that way. So that way, the main muscles which are in work are the wrist flexors, both ulnar and radial. So in Latin language it means the flexor carpi ulnaris, flexor carpi radialis. The same way, the muscles which hold the handle grip are the finger flexors, the finger extensors, both the deep and superficial finger flexors, and the eccentric lesser tension is in the finger extensors. The intrinsic muscles of the hand, which are, if you talk about thinner muscles, the abductor pollicis brevis, the flexor pollicis brevis, opponens pollicis, and the hypothenor muscles, which are flexor digiti minimi, opponens digiti minimi, and the adductor of pollicis. The assisting muscles on wrist flexing function are also the biceps and triceps from shoulder bone muscles, the shoulder muscles delta, the major and minor pectoral muscles, the chest muscles, and also some back muscles, trapezius, rhomboids, and the slight isometric tension is also in the rotator cuff muscles, infraspinatus, supraspinatus, subscapularis, and the teres minor. The second function I'm going to introduce to you is the opposite to the the wrist flexors. So this function is the wrist extensive function. So now the rubber bands has to be scrolled up away from the scroller, away from me. So if the wrist flexing function went that way, then now scrolling the rubber bands up away from me means that we use wrist extensors. And here we use both the ulnar and radial wrist extensors. In Latin language is the extensor carpi ulnaris and extensor carpi radialis longus et brevis, and the grip holders from the handle are the same, as I already characterized, the finger flexors and extensors plus intrinsic muscles. Also, the assisting muscles which are in stabilizing isometric tension are the same. The shoulder bone, the shoulder muscles, the chest muscles, and some of the back muscles. Now the next function I'm going to introduce to you is scrolling the weights up from the drawer knob of the handle to the right, which means that it concerns the forearm inwards rotators. And the forearm inwards rotators are the round inward rotator of the forearm, pronator teres in Latin language, and the square inward rotator of the square arm, which is in Latin language pronator quadratus. Also, the grip holders are the same finger flexors and extensors, plus intrinsic muscles, palmaris longus, palmaris brevis, the lumbricals of the hand, the interosseous muscles, and the same way the stabilizing isometric tension in the upper body is the same, which concerns the shoulder bone muscles, the shoulder, chest, and some of the back muscles. Now the next function I'm going to introduce to you is also with the drawdown of the handle, but now the rubber bands has to be scrolled up and turned to the left, not to the right side, but to the left side, which means that we use the forearm outwards rotators, which is supinated muscles, and also the biceps brachii, and in both inwards rotators and outwards rotators, also the brachioradial muscle is in work. Isometric tension, stabilizing isometric tension is the same way, slightly in the shoulder muscles, chest muscles, some of the back muscles. At the important moment, not to harm, not to get the injury to the wrist joint, is the assisting with the right hand while I scroll up or down, while I do the inwards or outwards rotators work. Then, talking about the wrist flexors and extensions, there is also a possibility of a combined option, which means that with one hand we take downside and other hand we take upwards. So with one hand from downwards, other hand upwards. With the hand we take from the grip from downwards, means that there is the work of wrist flexors. With the hand we take from the handle upwards, means that the work, that way the option of combined exercise looks to me that one hand flexes, other hand extends. In that case, the right hand flexes and the left hand extends. The last function is to work with finger flexors, so there's importance whether I stand towards machine with face or with back, because if I bend or flex my fingers with the face towards machine, then according to the position of the handle, the main tension goes to the index and middle finger. Both the deep and superficial flexors, and the lesser tension goes to ring and small finger. Talking about the ring and small finger, mainly the work is the superficial flexor. And standing with back towards the machine, according to the position of handle, more strongly opposite to the last option, the index and small finger are in work. Trainer wrist